Hey Legends, Skinny here, and this is my updated guide to our beloved Shred. At this moment, I'm having a wonderful time, and I thought I'm going to give you guys an update as to what we are currently achieving. And so far we're doing quite well. I'm very surprised at how the build has been operating. For us to go over the gear, I'm just going to be very clear that this variation of Shred is an overpower Shred variation, which I'm busy trying to min-max. For our helmet, we'll be using the Might aspect and prioritize cooldown and maybe an armor temper as well. For the chest, we'll be using the Mad Wolf's Glee unique. Our gloves will be imprinted with the Blurred Beast aspect. Try to prioritize critical strike damage and perhaps an overpower temper. For this particular gloves, I do have an armor roll that is to assist me to get armor capped within the respective torment tiers that I'm currently doing. For our pants, we'll be using the Vigorous. That's for additional damage reduction while in werewolf form. Again, for a temper, at least prioritize a single armor roll. And on a stat, try to get a resistance roll. Over to our bootsies, we'll be using the Wild Heart Hunger. This is actually exceptionally good with the amount of attack speed that you do get from this in order to proc the overpower from the amulet. Our main hand, I am using a one-handed mace, which has been imprinted with the Changeling's Debt. For our stats, prioritize critical strike damage or overpower damage, whichever is the best roll that you do get. And for your temper, get chance for Shred to hit twice. With the amount of attack speed we have, it procs actually quite often. I have tested using the Waxing Gibbous Unique Axe. I do feel that this is not giving as much damage. So therefore, that is the reason why I am using the mace instead of this unique. For our totem, we've got the Stormclaw's imprinted aspect so that our critical strikes can splash a little bit of area damage. Pretty much similar. For your stats preference, look for critical strike chance and critical strike damage. And for your temper, again, another one for the Shred to hit twice. This works very well together with your one-handed weapon. Our first ring will be a unique ring, the Mjolnir ring. This is so that we are using Cataclysm in this build. Every time the Cataclysm is up, we have unlimited spirit and we dish out a lot more damage. The roll I currently have, as you can see, is very bad. When you master working, try to prioritize getting Endless Tempest. That is so that Cataclysm can last longer. Our second ring, we're imprinting the aspect of Retaliation in order for our core skills to deal a bunch more damage based on our Fortify. We fortify quite easily in the build, so that is just natural damage within the build itself. For your stats, also prioritize getting critical strike damage over overpower. Critical strike first, overpower second if possible. And then your second temper is definitely, you must get Cataclysm cooldown in order to have Cataclysm to be as close to as possible permanently up. There will be a downtime when you will see there will be a lot of damage off, but during this time you can still dish out at least some damage. For our amulet, we're using the Banished Lord's Talisman. I've actually quite enjoyed using this, as after we spend 275 of our primary resource, the next core skill is guaranteed to overpower, and then if you critical strike, then you'll deal an additional damage on top of that. With the amount of attack speed that we have, we are proccing this on a regular basis, and thanks to the Mjolnir ring, we can just spam away and overpower away all the time. A quick glance over our boons. I'm using Wariness, Avian Wrath, Scythe Talons. You can drop Scythe Talons if you have very high critical strike chance for life. Also utilizing Calamity. That is in order to extend the duration of our Cataclysm. It is very important, guys. I have to stress this. And then lastly, we'll be using Masochistic. Probably pronounced that wrong still. Alright Legends, over to our skill tree, which I'll just be going over briefly. The link to the build will be in the description where you can go over everything in your own time. But just for a quick recap, we will be utilizing Maul as our basic skill in order to shapeshift thanks to Wild Heart. It's very important to keep shapeshifting every now and then in order to get the additional attack speed and damage thanks to the Wild Heart Hunger boots. We max out Shred, which is of course our main skill, and very important, my friends, do not utilize Primal Shred. Utilize Raging Shred. Don't ask me why, but it is way better. For our defensives, we max out all the passives. 1 into Blood Howl and Preserving Blood Howl for more attack speed. You max out Debilitating Roar and you go down to Innate Debilitating Roar for more additional damage. To your companion skills, we'll be using 3 into Feral Aptitude. To our Wrath skills, 1 into Hurricane in order for us to get to Savage Hurricane, more damage reduction, more survivability, guys. Max out Endless Tempest, that's to increase the duration of both Hurricane and Cataclysm, which is fantastic to have. And of course, max out that Envenom. Our ultimate of choice, self-explanatory, is Cataclysm thanks to the ring. You max that out with 3 into Quick Shift and 3 into Heightened Senses. Our key passive will be the Bestial Rampage thanks to the use of the Wild Heart Hunger. I do know that we have Mad Wolf's Glee on, and unfortunately the stat where it increases Lupine Ferocity's damage will not apply to this build. Over to our Paragon board, guys. For our starter board, we'll be inserting the Shapeshifter Glyph. This is very nice to have in order to get the legendary bonus, which is increasing our critical strike damage. As I do rephrase, I am focusing on critical strike damage and overpower damage in order to proc us big hits, but while we are attacking very fast thanks to the Wild Heart Hunger. Our second board will be the Lust for Carnage board. Here we will be inserting the Fang and Claw Glyph. Our third Paragon board to the left will be the Ancestral Guidance board, with us inserting the Outmatch Glyph. Our fourth board will be the Heightened Malice board, and here we shall be inserting the Spirit Glyph. For our fifth and final board, we'll be using the Survival Instincts board. Although we do not utilize the Legendary node, this board for me felt the most efficient to use our remaining Paragon points when we do get to that stage in the game. Here we shall be inserting Dominance. This is to increase our overpower damage, which works very, very well in conjunction with all the critical strike damage that we do get. So I'll do a quick showcase of the build on Pit 50. This build is genuinely, for me personally, done really well. I am very surprised at how it's really felt, but I will explain to you guys the gameplay loop of how to get it going. And of course you will have a big down point as when your Cataclysm is off cooldown. So our general loop will be always activating Cataclysm and all our buffs, and from there you've got to shapeshift every now and then to get a whole bunch of attack speed thanks to Wild Heart Hunger. From here you are able to permanently shred thanks to the Wild Heart Hunger, but once Cataclysm is down, you will not have unlimited spirit. So from there you will have to be manually generating a spirit. This will be much slower, so focus on cooldown reduction, guys. As you see right now, I don't have perfect cooldown reduction, but I do have a downtime of about 10 seconds. With Artillery Shrine, the guy goes even crazier for some reason, guys. Artillery Shrine is really funny to see with this build. Over to the boss fight. He's not too shabby in the boss fight. Shred still does struggle a little bit at the boss, but he's much stronger than what he used to be, at least I can say that. Oh shit, I'm dead. So yeah, there you go, guys. That's pretty much the build in action. It feels so good this season. One other disclaimer I must make is that we do not have the Wolf's Agile aspect. That is the new Shred aspect, which is still disabled. That should be available next week, so it should make the build do even more damage. I will re-look into that as well, and I can't wait to test that one out. I am live streaming on a constant basis where we're going over this. We're having a good chat with all the legends that do join. So thank you to everyone that does join. And yeah, I do know this is not an S tier build. It's not a Spiritborn by any chance, but it's really fun. So yeah, guys, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining, and catch you live stream.